Jai Hind, this is Brigadier Hemant Mahajan. Subject is 26/11. 14 years have got completed 2 days back on that deadly terror attack which took place on Mumbai, which is an economic capital of our country. Have we learned the correct lesson? What is the state of coastal security today? What are the challenges that are there to coastal security today? And how well are we prepared to meet them? Firstly, what we must understand is that when the 26/11 attack took place, 10 terrorists started from Pakistan. They traveled in the Indian Sea. No coastal agency could catch them. Then, at one point of time, they got a vessel which was called Kuber, in which they got into that, killed the skipper of the Kuber, threw him out in the sea, then came somewhere near the Kulaba coastline. From there, in the rubber boats, they came and landed on the Kulaba fishing harbor, and from there they came inside, and then these 10 terrorists went into 3 hotels and other places, and the mayhem that they caused is well known to you. Almost 300 plus Indians were killed, out of which many were foreigners, and very recently an anti-terror meet for the whole world took place in Hotel Taj, in which everybody from the world had come there, and they were told as to how this attack took place, what kind of a danger is there. And not only that, baby Moshe, who was barely 2 years old child at that point of time, if I remember his age correctly, now is grown up to a 16 years old boy. Even he was, even they got him online for a video conference. So it was a good action taken to tell the world as to what kind of a threat we face from there. But today, is the threat decreased? Now, after 26/11, no terror attack has taken place, especially after 2016, simply because Pakistan is scared of carrying out any terror attack either from the sea or any terror attack in rest of the country. So they have changed their modus operandi. So the most important issue is what is the modus operandi that they are adopting now, and what resources we have to sort of look after this security. The most important resource that we have is today we have a three-tier coastal security. Up to 20 nautical miles, coastal police is responsible. 20 nautical miles up to 200 nautical miles, it is the Indian Coast Guard which is responsible. Beyond 200 nautical miles, it is the Indian Navy which is responsible. In addition to that, we have the intelligence agencies like the Research and Analysis Wing, the Intelligence Bureau, the Excise Department, the Customs Department, who give intelligence of what is likely to happen. In addition to this, we have the border security force who have floating border outposts, especially in the area of Sir Creek. They also have their presence in the area of Sundarbans, etc. So security agencies are there. In addition to that, there are aircraft which regularly carry out patrolling. There are boats of the police, the boats of the Coast Guard, the boats of Indian Navy which carry out regular patrolling. But is this adequate? What are the exact changes that we face from the security point of view right now? The most important challenge that we face is a lot of illegal smuggling takes place, and the smuggling especially of gold and narcotics is very rampant. And in last 1 year, thousands of crores of narcotics has been confiscated by from the sea by having an actionable intelligence which told you in a particular boat the narcotics was coming, the boat was intercepted, and thereafter a success was got. So definitely we need to compliment the intelligence agencies as well as the security agency. In this case, it is basically the Coast Guard which did an action. But in addition to this, the illegal trade which takes place from the Gulf countries, etc., in the Dhaus on the Gujarat coastline. In addition to that, there is the illegal poaching that takes place in our island territories, which are Andaman and Nicobar Islands in the Bay of Bengal, and we have another set of island territories called as the Lakshadweep and Minicoy Islands in the Arabian Sea. In addition to this, there are a lot of islands of ours which are not occupied. So a lot of times people who are inimical to us come and occupy the island, stay there for some time, carry out fishing, etc. So that has to be stopped. Terror attacks, though not have taken place after 2611, but that always remains a possibility. Now, in terms of threat of areas, what we find is that there are three areas which are where the coastal security requires vast improvement. First is the area of the Sir Creek or in the area of Run of Kutch, in which there is a Harami Nala which waves its way inside and outside our areas, and here a lot of illegal activities take place, and many Pakistani fishing boats have been caught here. Somehow our security there is not up to the mark. Secondly is the area of Pak Bay between India and Sri Lanka, in which lot of fishermen get caught, Indian fishermen going into the area of let's say Sri Lanka, etc. LTT was a big threat earlier, but even now a fair amount of smuggling does take place from there. And recently one would remember that Indian Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Gandhi was killed by an LTT suicide bomber, and the other people who took part in this plot have just been released by the Indian Supreme Court without realizing that they were a part of a terror group which killed the Indian Prime Minister, so they deserved a very harsh punishment. But unfortunately, the Supreme Court did not act on it, and Indian government rightly has filed up for a review petition. But the threat from the Pak Bay is always there. Also in the Maldives seas, a fair amount of smuggling takes place, so that has to be kept a watch on. Then another area which is a big problem area is the area of Sundarbans, which is basically a delta of Brahmaputra and Ganga, coming from Brahmaputra coming from Bangladesh, where it's called Meghna, and Ganga of course coming from various directions. So this area is a marshy area with lot of creeks, lot of area gets submerged during high tide, etc. So this is a den of illegal activities, including smuggling, including illegal infiltration. The Bangladeshi illegal infiltration into India is a big security threat. It of course takes place from the sea, especially from West Bengal, etc. But in addition to that, since the topic today is coastal security, a lot of illegal infiltration takes place from the sea also, especially on the eastern coast, on the coastlines of West Bengal, also on the coastlines of Orissa, etc. If you read the newspapers belonging to those states, they have at regular intervals information with regard to illegal immigration that is taking place on the coastline. Plus, at times there are reports that the Nakshals or the left-wing extremists may also be, or the left-wing terrorists may also be getting help in terms of arms and ammunition from the seaside. So this is the threat: smuggling, illegal poaching, etc. Now, while there is a three-tier security, but if you look at the annual report, Indian Navy has hardly got any success as far as the coastal security is concerned. The coastal police also has hardly got any success. Whatever success has come, it has come the way of Indian Coast Guard, which was basically based on the actionable intelligence. Now today, a lot of improvement has taken place as far as the coastline is concerned. Three-tier security I mentioned. Lot of resources have been given to the police, the patrolling boats in the region of 5 tons and 10 tons. Coast Guard has got one of the most modern vessels which have come from Larsen and Tobruk, etc. And also the Indian Navy has got now vessels which can go into brown waters and which can carry out patrolling around the important harbors of ours. In addition to this, lot of aerial recce is done. Lot of times the drones also keep on flying. The feed from the radars, feed from the drones, feed from everybody gets into the district headquarters of the Coast Guard. From there, it goes on what is called as the Joint Operational Center. Joint Operational Centers are located at Mumbai, located at Kochi, located at Visakhapatnam, located at Port Blair. This is where information or intelligence from everywhere comes together. It is analyzed and then it is passed on for action. While this looks good on a piece of paper, but the success is definitely intermittent. The most important reason is today on a vast coastline of about 7,600 kilometers, despite having resources, it is not easy to carry out patrolling and detect suspicious fishing vessels or suspicious boats which are carrying out an anti-national activity. what is important is every agency, every security agency which is involved in the coastal security has to develop its own intelligence. The Indian Navy has to carry out, develop intelligence. The Coast Guard also has to carry out. Of course, Coast Guard is also called as the lead intelligence agency as far as coastal security is concerned. The police also have to get on their toes and carry out intelligence. And it was generally believed that the police intelligence generally is quite good. Then there are economic agencies like customs. They have to improve their intelligence. ED has to improve their intelligence. Then the professional intelligence agencies like the Intelligence Bureau, the Research and Analysis Wing, especially the NTRO, which is doing a reasonable job as it stands right now in terms of technical intelligence, has to further improve it. What has to be understood is that actionable intelligence is a key to success. I repeat, actionable intelligence is a key to success, and every security force which is involved in guarding our coastline, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the police, and many others, BSF to some extent, and others, also have to keep their eyes and ears open and ensure that they make their own attempt to carry out, get actionable intelligence. Now, in addition to this, the most important component of our eyes and ears at sea is the fishing vessels which are out at sea. At any point of time, 3 to 3.5 lakh fishing vessels are out at sea. Now they go right up to 20 nautical miles to 200 nautical miles, etc. So they can always keep a watch on the suspicious activities. Unfortunately, while the lift service is kept is paid at regular intervals, but the issue is not adequate fishermen have been let's say got inside the police. We could get them inside the police as home guards. We could get them inside the Coast Guard also, but the problem is their qualifications are not educational qualifications are not up to the mark. But their seamanship is definitely very good, and they know a lot about sea around them. So we need to make use of this fishing community, the people living in the coastal areas, so that we gain a good actionable intelligence. In addition to this, what is important is to understand that while we carry out regular exercises at sea, every 6 months we have a regular exercise in which every about 15-20% of the vessels on the coastline are checked up. But what we require is a one-time check of all the fishing vessels that are there, ensure that they are registered, ensure that the document of this fishermen are checked up, find out if there are any Bangladeshis or Nepalis who have come in that area. We have to regulate the fishing traffic, etc., so that the order is got in the sea, and it becomes easier to distinguish between a suspicious activity and a non-suspicious activity. The documentation is definitely improved. Aadhaar cards are linked up, etc. Scanners have been given to the people. But one of the most weakest point right now is having a AIS, automatic identification system, on the fishing vessels. Presently, our radars can only detect the bigger vessels. It cannot detect fishing vessels. They can be detected if there is an AIS. Unfortunately, the fishing community is not willing for it. So the government has carried out a project with the help of the DRDO to develop low cost AIS devices, etc. And they carried out trials in the coast of Gujarat and also in the area of Park Bay. I am told that it has become successful, but at a fast speed, we have to ensure that identity of each boat at sea is detected. This is the only way to ensure that our coastline remains secure, either from smuggling or from illegal trade or from security threats or from law and order, etc. So today, the most important aspect for improving coastal security is to improve the human element which is there both in the Navy, in the Coast Guard, in the police, and in various departments. Because whatever is supposed to be done, everybody knows it. But if you have committed people, if you have people who are patriotic, then obviously they will do the job much better than what they are doing today. And of course, the last important point is that we require a jointmanship of all agencies operating there so that they all work as a team and take care of various security threats that are there to our security. I'll stop here. Jai Hind.